What's approaching the supreme moment, reality striking closer than it seems, don't it? Go ahead.
What's good? Let's go ahead and test out another unit that you don't really see maxed out too often. This is the World Tournament Reward Youth Gohan. So let's go ahead and get started and cover the stats a little bit. Leader skill, he does provide +2 key attack and defense increase of 50% for intelligence types. Super attack Masenko causes supreme damage and raises attack and defense by 30% for 3 turns. Passive skill is breaking away from dependence. Key +3 attack and defense increase of 60% when facing 2 or less enemies. Link skills, he has Saiyan Warrior Race that adds 700 to attack. All in the Family adds 15% to defense. Saiyan Lineage adds +1 key. Z Fighters adds +15% to attack. Gaze of Respect will add +2 key. Shocking Speed will add +2 key as well. He does fall into the Hybrid Saiyans category, and for maxed out stats, his HP is at 10,067, attack is at 11,494, defense is at 7,398, and he does have the 12 key multiplier at 140%. Alright, so this is going to be mostly in mono intelligence type team. So you'll have the double lead Super Gogeta, and then typically I brought in the other kid Gohan, and then the buff Goku, just to provide the passive support to the Gohan unit to be showcased. So the buff Goku adds, I believe, 25% toward attack, and then Kid Gohan obviously adds 40% toward attack for intelligence type. So you'll see him linked up with either of those for the most part of this video, just to maximize the attack output. Pandel here is providing another 30% toward attack as well, so definitely getting a decent boost right here. We'll see how much he hits for after Gohan attacks. And this is on the Super Gogeta event, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta event. With the critical, about 840,000 against Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, so definitely not too bad there. He does link up decent with LR Piccolo here. A couple of link skills that he does share. So without critical, about 520,000. Honestly, not too bad there. I did mix it up and not go into boss rush immediately, just to kind of switch things up a little bit, fight against different boss types and whatnot. So yeah, against the Goku there, did about 1 million in damage, so not too bad there. He's gonna have type disadvantage here, so unless it's critical, the damage output will be a little bit less, I'm sure. So yeah, roughly about 220,000. I mean, that's pretty much expected with type disadvantage. And I guess he was part of the reward for the 19th World Tournament, I think. I highly doubt a lot of people max this guy out, so that's kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to, test him out and see how he does at rainbow status. Not that I expect people to, rainbow these types of units, but it's always interesting to see, unique, obscure type of cards that are maxed out and see what their, damage potential is. It's really funny how I have these guys linked up because, in the manga they're pretty much in the, hyperbolic chamber kind of training, getting ready for the fight with Cell kind of thing. So Kind of interesting setup how they end up linking up well. Alright, so we're on the Angel Golden Frieza event. So one of the fairly new ones out over in Global, so we'll see how he does against Angel Golden Frieza here. Alright, so 825,000 against Angel Golden Frieza, not too bad there. We'll see how he does with the against the Dokkan Awakened version. Yeah, not too bad. 660k. Alright, so we're back into Boss Rush 3. It's your typical test environment, so to speak. It's easier to just fight with a bunch of enemies. And honestly, I thought about going with the Hybrid Saiyans category setup, but just kind of ended up deciding to just run an intelligence type team setup just to see how he does. I mean, honestly, there's not that much difference anyhow. I think for that category there's only a 10% increase toward attack per lead anyway, so you're looking at 20% difference. Really not much there, so I figured it'd be okay with an intelligence type setup. So it looks like the passive skill of attack and defense increasing of 60% when there's 2 or less enemies definitely does help him get a little bit of a boost. Obviously he's getting the benefit from the other 2 cards passive skills toward increasing the attack and whatnot, but overall, I mean, he's definitely a decent unit. Whether to invest that amount of orbs or not, I mean, that's obviously completely up to each person and player, but this is more or less just to kind of visually display how he could potentially do maxed out. Alright, so it looks to be type advantage for him here against the Tech GT Vegeta, so probably going to be pretty decent in terms of output here. Yeah, right around 1 million without the critical, so definitely a weaker enemy, but nevertheless not too bad there. This will be more of a proper gauge of how he does against Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta here. Took about 80,000 in damage. That's really not that bad considering. And he hits for about 700,000 with the critical, so certainly decent there. I mean, obviously it took a lot of orbs, or it would hypothetically take a lot of orbs to get him to this status, but more or less, I mean, he's doing pretty decent overall. So we got a bunch of chumps here, and he's going into Dokkan mode, so let's see how he does. Definitely getting a little boost from Buff Goku and the Kid Gohan, 40% from Gohan and then 25% from Goku, so pretty decent stack there. The passive for Gohan himself is negated since there are more than 2 enemies here. So he's not getting the 60% increased stored attack. But he definitely did hit higher than typically for about 3 million there. So obviously he's gonna hit for a lot less, but I mean you can see the 930k toward the potential damage with the SA. So it definitely gets there, it gets up there. Yeah, I mean, and 900,000 is definitely impressive for this little guy anyway. This is definitely going to be a decent damage output here since he does have type advantage and it's definitely a weaker enemy here. So yeah, 1.25 million, certainly decent there. I mean, he could definitely be ran on a hybrid Saiyan category team in addition to this, intelligence, super intelligence team setup.